Hello, and welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound.
Sound!
A perception of sight.
Sight!
With a dimension of
Mind!
we move into a land
I don't even know.
of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. Mr. Vosley here with a couple of real mean motor scooters. It's K Maximum Overdrive. And the Rin Tin Tin Man. Old Mr. Vosley decided to reach into his little bag of obscure movies for this episode. We have 2020's Relic.
Oh, 2020s? I watched the 97 one.
Starring Emily Mortimer and Robin Nevin. It's about 3 generations of women being haunted by an insidious presence in their family home. This is one of those movies that I saw on the shelf and had a good feeling about it and bought it without looking it up or reading about it. So I've only seen it once before this podcast, but I still had thought about it from time to time. And, you know, it wasn't just the visuals and the scares, but the lasting thematic impact, I guess, for me. So here's our agenda for today's episode.
Solid.
We've got initial reactions, like always. We've got scene perception. Our most haunting scenes. Theme and why. Visual metaphors. And what does the movie make you think and feel? Mm-hmm. So let's start with our initial reactions.
Okay. Initially, all those bell rings were pretty solid.
That's first things first.
I'm going to take the worst one from our past episodes and just reuse them. Where it doesn't even hit the bell, you get it at the table.
Mulligan.
Well, when did you guys watch it? How did you watch it?
I watched it last night all alone with nothing but a candle. Now, by the way, it was a 3-flame candle, so it was pretty bright.
Not a black flame candle?
Not a black flame candle, but I did watch it last night. Wrapped it up right around 12:45. Because I was gonna originally come watch it with you, but something came up, so I had to watch it a little bit later on my onesie. Mm-hmm. And I was full of regret the entire movie because I'm a big baby, big scaredy cat, and it, I won't get to the feelings of dread and things like that at the times, but I really liked it because it did what I believe that it set out to accomplish. It put me in a really uneasy position the entire time. Almost like Skinamarink, but a lot more structure.
Okay.
That's how it felt to me.
Oh, yeah.
And you know how much we love that.
Actual faces to the voices and stuff. Yeah. And they weren't toy car faces or something like that.
Right. Jeepers, creepers.
I watched it today around 2 p.m. On my phone in my room with my notebook. And I kind of walked through it and paused it, went back for, kept it going. Mm-hmm. It was pretty light out, so there's only a few scenes I had to squint through in case something came out and got me. And then I think I even notated when I kind of got an idea of, not really a theme, but like the meaning behind like the mold and whatnot. Like, so that kind of came in like, I think I just was like, oh, this could mean this.
Yeah.
But so two very different viewing experiences there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I almost on purpose, I assumed, because we didn't get notes, to kind of focus our view a little.
Yeah, I should give a little note on that I purposely did not give my co-host here any direction on how to watch this movie, because it was going to be mostly about how they feel and their reactions to it.
Yeah, so knowing that, armed with that, I've thought in my head, let me just take this in, dark room, get the feels, and just let it have its way with me. Mm-hmm. And that I did. And I had to watch 2 episodes of Ted Lasso to get to sleep.
There you go. There you go. You got to throw something at the end.
I really did.
Like, I'm going to make that walk back to the house.
That's exactly it.
So for anyone that's gotten this far and hasn't watched it, the 2 guys watched it on Shudder. Mm-hmm. They were able to get a free trial to watch the movie. And like I had said before, I saw it on the shelf when it first came out and just had a good feeling about it, got it. So I've had the Blu-ray since then.
And then that actress, well, I'll get into her in a little bit. Can you name the 2 actresses? The one that played
Emily
Kay,
Mortimer
I think.
is the mom.
Emily Mortimer. I remember her from the Newsroom.
Okay.
Being just
She's definitely in other things. I've seen her before.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember her character from Newsroom as the executive producer of the show, and just feeling like, man, she's so solid, so solid. She was even like more vulnerable in this, and I thought that's a cool role.
Nice.
But man, just I think she carried. To me, she carried. I thought she carried the movie myself.
Okay.
I thought the Graham did really good. Like it's not a. I don't know. Like I kind of wish like I could see on set once in a while and be like, what are they like? Mm-hmm. 'Cause she's so disconnected.
Well, you want to see how much of
disjointed.
this is acting or how much of it is casting.
Right. And then to see her be like, okay, cut, and then go have a tea and laugh
Right.
about something, and then okay, you got to get back into character where you're friendly and nice and joyful, and you got to switch to being cold and distant, and it's
There's-
jarring to
Some scenes that were just like, that's what made me like, because I think of my own relationship with my grandmother and stuff like that, and there were times when I was there, it was just she raised us very often, and I can remember not like to get too far ahead of myself, but like some of that switch when she started. A little bit of dementia. I mean, where it'd be like super happy all the time, and then like a crossness of like, oh, almost like she was talking to like, one of her, cousins or something, or, like it's almost like she switched to like years ago or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
directing toward me, who was probably 4, 5, 6, 7 at the time.
right.
Like,
Who she's only treated warmly to,
only
probably.
warmly, yeah,
Yeah.
like my favorite person. Like, wait, what's happening? Anyway, good stuff. How about you? I mean, you watched it a long time ago.
So I'm gonna save
Oh
mine.
yeah, you sure?
So purposely, I'm gonna save mine for the end because it's a little bit of a loaded
Okay,
thing for me.
all right.
So scene perception is going to work a little bit different today. What I want you guys to do is tell me what do you perceive to be the most impactful scene to the story.
I got mine right away.
What is
You want me to do it right now?
Go ahead. Yeah. Wait. Okay. Now
fire.
do it.
Tin Man is on fire.
Practice. I take this bell home. That's positive.
I've heard.
Fucking ring.
It's a salve. Anyway, okay. Impactful scene. You say? Mm-hmm. Mine
To
was
the story. Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like this touched on the theme in a heavier way than I think, because I think it was almost like a jump scare for folks. I remember seeing in the trailer. I remember seeing the trailer and then never seeing the movie, but seeing the trailer saying, "Oh, I'm never watching that thing." When she looks under the bed, and the grandmother is begging her, just check under the bed, because she doesn't believe her.
Right.
Just check under the bed, and she's condescendingly saying, "There's nothing under the bed," like to her mother, and the mom's like just almost like begging her, and almost in a panic. Sure enough, she looks under there. And the fear and panic of grandmother is substantiated by her seeing something breathing under the bed. And yet she gets distracted so quickly to get back to her agenda of, no, you're losing it. I'm going to take care of you. We're going to move forward with this. I was left in that scene saying, the theme, my idea of what the theme is just perfectly captured right there. You have already labeled, your mother is already circling the drain. You're not paying attention to her. And now you're just surfacely taking care of her because you want to make sure she's okay. Maybe there's guilt involved. And now here she is saying, there's something under the bed. You look, you see something under the bed. But your perception of how you already got to take care of her, she's losing her mind, that superseded. She was distracted from following up on the thing that was breathing under the
if
bed.
you saw something moving and you got distracted by a book falling down,
Yes.
you wouldn't have been like, this thing. You'd been like, yeah,
Yes.
there's something under there. Okay.
Yes.
And her reaction too, she got hit by the book, and she's like, "Why did you do that?"
Right.
It was so like accusatory.
It just felt like that to me rang the bell of what this theme was for me.
Like she kind of knew what that was and still didn't want to
It's almost like, yes, you did put your grandmother on a shelf. Yes, you did ignore her. Yes, you did. Because there's a lot of guilt between her and the daughter that say, yeah, I should have been here more. I know I should have been. I'm going to do this now. I'm so sorry I didn't do this. So to me, that's her seeing her own deficit. Her looking under the bed is seeing grandmother is scared, and yes, there is something under the bed. But then just how quickly she was able to, boom, snap out of that and just get accusatory and also like jump back on her narrative of what's happening here. Mom's losing her mind. I need to take care of her, either take her somewhere or have some, she jumped right back into her narrative that quick, which tells me, and it's not giving the theme, but it's really painting pretty close to them. I'm painting borders here, that she had already compartmentalized mom's role in her life. Like the usefulness, the part that she needed to have her in her life is already gone. I see you this way. You're someone that needs to be cared for.
Yeah.
And now there's a precipice that you've gone missing. We've alerted the authorities. It's almost embarrassing to me. It's about mom. It's almost embarrassing to me. Look how the community views you.
Yeah.
And we get that. So that one scene right there, I couldn't wait to share that scene because I'm like, who in their right mind sees something terrifying under a bed?
Yeah.
Gets hit by a book. I don't care what the hell hits you or what happens. You go back to under that bed with a flashlight or a knife or a grenade launcher, and you find out what it is, and you eradicate that thing from underneath your mother's bed.
Yeah.
Or you die trying.
Yeah.
If you, in fact, really love this person, instead of saying, "Do you hit me in the head with a book?"
Instead of turning a blind eye to.
Yeah. That scene, and that was more off-putting than anything. I'm like, so they're aware that something supernatural is at stake here.
Okay.
And you just really care less about it. You're just more, why'd you throw that book at me? We're going to do what I intended to do when I came here.
I like that.
So to me, that's what it felt like to me.
I think I was stuck between, did she see it too that I saw it when I watched it? But hearing your point of it, I like that better.
I mean, I don't know, but I just, in my head, that's what I thought. I thought that the filmmaker was trying to say, okay, we're showing you right now that mom sees there's a good chance there's something supernatural at play. At very least, animalistic. There's an animal or something under there.
Right.
It doesn't have to be supernatural. At minimum.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tin Man, what
die.
did you have as your most impactful scene for the story?
I think when I first saw the chest mold, because we saw her, it's a bruise. She mentions it, tries to cover it up. Then I think she's in a tub or at her room. Forgot what she does, but she notices it. And my first thought was like, that's like the mold. It's like the house. It's like, and I kind of connected everything when I saw that. I don't know if I would make that the most impactful.
It's definitely impactful though.
Yeah, I think where a twist for me is like the end. It's almost the climax of the movie, and I don't want to use that. And it's where the mom decides to go back in after your grandma's turned into a demon monster, and she's clawing her skin off, and I even quoted her in my notes. And the granddaughter says, "That's not Gran, that's not Gran." She goes, "I can't leave her," and goes back in and then locks her out of the house. Mm-hmm. So she can go back in to care for her.
See, I think that's big right there.
Was I thought that was a big, because that's her turn from being.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
This isn't, I don't need to deal with this.
That's her
She's
actually
living her own
caring.
life, and that's her being like, I'll carry this weight, and then literally carries her. I like that because I'm like, ooh, this all makes sense. It was making sense prior, because it does get supernatural. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, okay, is some of this real, some of this not, some of it's metaphorical. Because the room that she goes into and gets lost into, and it's almost like this labyrinth of
like a tunnel
different rooms, now it's getting smaller, and the way I came from is blocked off now, and it's almost like a metaphor for her mind. The writing on the wall is very distinct calligraphy on the notes, being like, your mother has green eyes, to like get out, get out, get out, written with like crazy handwriting. So it's like, oh, it's someone slipping their
into
ability.
psychosis. That's right.
Is losing their grasp on reality, losing dementia or Alzheimer's, whatever it might be. But,
so the whole movie
good,
was
yeah,
most impactful.
yeah. Sorry. I don't know if there's one. Oh, okay. When she has the dreams. Okay, fine. I'll pick one. Okay. So she has these visions of the old house and the man that's in there who eventually dies, and he shows him like decaying by the bedside, and it shows him like alive and then falling off the bed, and then in the chair from the outside of the house, looking out the window. Then she has that same vision, but it's with the grandma now in the window. And that kind of connected everything to me, at least.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, this is how this connects to this. And this is, and so she's starting to realize what happened to him. He got left alone, died, and there was nobody there to care for him, alone, scared probably. And then her mom is going to be in that spot soon. And it's actually your job to help with this part. And realizes I don't know, like the weight of what all this thing is, the scary looming monster that she's choosing not to look at.
Now, I want to ask you guys a question because I don't know if I was losing my mind just because it was a scary room that I was watching it in. Opening scene. Grandma's running the bath.
Oh yeah, is this a Christmas movie or no?
Thoughts? Where's the rubric at?
I know, right? I ate
Christmas was never mentioned. No Christmas music. One decoration.
There's a tree.
It was clearly a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, was that your question?
I gotta tell you, so the water is coming close to her foot, right? Like the water's getting closer and closer, and she's sitting there, and
Naked.
yeah, and there's a figure near the tree, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank God. Because in my
That
head, I'm
figure
like,
shows up several times.
yeah, but that's the
And
first time we see it, right?
That's yes. There is a silhouette.
Because honestly, I didn't. To me, I know that was like the representation, but in my head, I'm like, I wasn't constantly scared to see that again. But that's the only time I saw it. I'm thinking, oh my gosh,
that was the only time you saw it.
Well, besides under the bed, right?
Because it shows up with the flashlight looking down the hall. You see it for a second.
Okay.
It shows up like
When
4 or 5 times.
I think the first time that
I'm a horrible Ghostbuster.
I think the first time that that they stayed over when Gran came home.
when they were sleeping in the bed together, on the couch together.
Well, Kay goes downstairs to look for her, and as she's going downstairs, you can see the figure behind her.
I thought I saw that.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
That's one. Cell phone flashlight, when the daughter goes into the area that she wasn't in before, she shines through and you can see this figure, and then she comes back and it's gone.
All right, okay. That's because I was watching like this here.
Watching it like this way.
Yeah, honest to goodness. It's honestly, that's absolutely true. That and this.
So
I don't know what
because our
that's doing.
audience can't see, they're both covering their
Covering
eyes.
eyes and squinting really heavily.
But if anybody in the audience knows me at all, you know exactly what I'm doing. Because every time I watch a scary movie, if they can't see me, it can't hurt me.
That's
And
right.
obviously, this is covering my eyes, how they can't see me. That's how I used to win at hide and seek all the time.
So my most impactful story somehow is still different than the both of yours.
Nice.
It was when Edna goes out to the... She's outside and she's holding the photo album.
Okay.
And Kay goes after her. And, you know, she's eating the pictures and she's in that state where there's no remembering anything and there's, you know, it's not her. And she's digging the hole. And Kay kind of plays along, really. And, you know, she digs the hole and she tries to put it in there. She's saying how she's complaining that... what was she bothered by in that moment? Do you remember?
Hold on.
No, she what? So they can't find it. They can't. I'm gonna put them out here so they can't
Kay
find
Gran
it.
in the woods, eating old pictures and burying a family photo album. They should be safe out here. I wish
Yeah,
I could
that's
turn
it.
around and
Yep.
go back. I'm losing everything.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
So
Notes, man.
That's good stuff.
she's in this state where she doesn't know what's happening. She's losing memory. She's losing people, and she breaks down. And she keeps asking, "Where is everyone?" And Kay just embraces her, gives her a hug. That moment where Gran breaks down and keeps repeating, "Where is everyone?" You get this sense that this has been happening for a while. That not just the dementia side of things, but her family. Like, she's living in this space alone. Mm-hmm. And the opening scene, you have the only other thing is this insidious figure in the shadows.
Looming shadowy figure. Yeah.
She's alone on Christmas. Like,
it's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Like, come on.
That should be the most family connected time.
And with her mind, the only thing she's comprehending is, well, if I ingest the photos,
right?
Maybe I keep
get away.
them. Yeah, maybe they're not gotten by this thing. And then burying the book, like, with her mind in the state that it is, that's the only thing she can comprehend that would keep these memories safe. So that was my most impactful for the story.
Nice.
Anyway.
I did write that down intentionally, so that's what
nice.
It was a thing. Yeah.
So now I have. This is the second part of scene perception. What was the most impactful to you personally?
Oh man, that's heavy. I think I shared mine a little bit. I'll say it because it related me to my grandmother when she turned a little bit. When grandmother's crisis, I think when her crisis comes to a bit of a head and she sees her granddaughter differently. It's like almost like I got like almost like a Gollum feeling, like you have my ring, and gets real nasty and yanks it off the granddaughter.
Yeah.
And the granddaughter's just like terrified. You see that look. I never felt that with my grandmother, but I just remember when I seen a bit of her, like a cross side of her when I've never seen it in my life.
Right.
She was helping with my homework, and I couldn't get a word or whatever, and she was getting so angry and frustrated. I was like, I remember being terrified, thinking, this is not you. Because when you're a kid, you have a limited scope, a little limited schema. You have a lot of background knowledge about things in context. So all I know is this sweet lady who's always been kind and good, literally saying, "You know this word," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" And so I related a little bit to that. I think.
Tin Man.
I don't know.
Like, I don't feel anything. So.
There's a reason you guys call me Tin Man.
No lub dubs on this one.
Lub dubs?
Mm-hmm. You don't even know what it is. Like,
here, check
heart? Should I go while you think?
Yeah, go ahead, go.
So,
darn it, that's the one I was going to do.
Probably is going to be. It's the... I'll specify, I guess, because it is towards the end there, but it's specifically after Kay beats down Edna.
With the pipe?
Yeah.
Okay. She climbs through the wall.
Edna's laying on the ground, and they start to go, and it's the double take that Kay makes, and the look on Edna's face, she says Kay, and she looks, and there's a note by her that says, "I am loved."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So during this movie, she's got little notes, flush the toilet, turn off the lights, your daughter's got green eyes, or whatever that note was. It's all these little things that she needs to be able to remember just to function day to day. And to see that one of those little things is to remind herself that she is loved is, to me, so heartbreaking. That you don't feel it enough, that you have to remind yourself on a note every day, I am loved. So like,
yeah.
So when I saw that note, I remember when I first watched it, I was like, oh my goodness. Like,
yeah, big feels.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's what was written on it. I was listening to someone's like little breakdown of the movie. Like somebody walks through, I don't know if you've ever seen these, where they kind of just walk through the narrative of the story for you. So like, if I don't have time to rewatch a movie, I'll listen to someone tell me what's happening. I did it with Parasite because I'm like, I need to watch this movie again because all I did was read the whole time. Like, so I can't even see what's happening. So I'll watch a YouTube video of them breaking a scene down, and they mentioned that the note said, because that's what it said. I didn't even get a chance to see what the note said. I'm like, oh, because I was wrapped in the story at the time, but I missed that part. But that makes sense.
That's
That was a
big
good one
for me anyway.
that was a good one. I like that. I don't know. Using that same one I just used.
So
Not the turnaround. So we'll say when she carries her upstairs. When she finally makes that choice, she locks the daughter up, and the daughter comes back.
It's that active choice to say, I am going to
Right.
spend my time taking care of you.
Carries her up the stairs, and then pulls off all like this flesh,
Like the rest of the...
like this husk, what's left, and what's left of her is like a black, like almost mummified version of her that she lays down with, pulls all the hair off her and everything, and then just holds her and they fall asleep. Like, I thought that was like very symbolic of that relationship needing to be there, even at the worst part of her, and everything stripped off of her. What's left of her is this.
Let's save that then for visual metaphors then.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I feel like I'm just hitting all the.
I like it,
Let's go
though.
right to the end and hit the big point here. Like,
All right.
practice makes perfect.
Thanks, man.
How about the most haunting scene?
Ooh, that's gonna take a little thinking now here. Haunting scene.
Where did I see that figure? Because that figure is usually, it might be to me. It might be that scene where they find the old man that's in the old house. Because you don't know what it's referencing yet, so it's all questions. It's not the house they're in; it's a smaller house. But that picture in the window, that stained glass window's the same one they move over, but it's like in her dream. It's like a vision. So she arrives there. It's like a dead body. Then it's back to him being alive. Then he's in the chair. Then he's decaying, and his eyes open up and look at you.
Yeah.
Where you're not sure what it's symbolizing yet, but is that in her head? Like that's like. I don't know. I thought it was cool because it opened up so many questions.
Super haunting.
And I'm like, is that the figure that's looming? Is that who that? Like you didn't know what this was yet, and it was all questions and tricks. I don't know how to describe it, but it was. I thought it was.
Yeah.
I like that one.
When I try to think of something that's haunting, it's usually, we talked about this before, something that's just a little bit off. Something that's just... It's going to sound silly because it's just the shape, the state of Grandma's feet. When you first see her in the kitchen, she could be Holly Hobby. Like she could be someone Grandma just perfectly making a meal in the kitchen or perfectly doing dishes and then turning and then. So she's gone for days. She comes back and her hair, she doesn't look a mess. She looks like she's doing something facing the other way. And, there's fear. The big fear that I have is always a jump scare of when they turn around, she's got no face, or, she's a devil, or she's got a unicorn horn, or something. She turns around and she looks fine, and she's almost indignant that they're asking these questions.
Yeah.
But then the shot kind of goes to her feet, and her feet almost look like a dead person's feet. And for some reason, it was off-putting to me. It was haunting to me. It was... All right, okay, now we're moving. Now the movie's moving here because it's not normal. Wherever she's been, it's abnormal. Apologies to the mold type bruising being haunting. I thought once you see that, you're like, oh boy. But I always think when it's just a little bit off, and that was the first time we saw they're asking these questions, and I'm like, oh, here comes a jump scare. Nope, she's normal. She's okay. Then you see the feet, and you're like, oh, geez. That's what I thought. That was my thinking right there. Oh, boy, here we go.
When she's getting the physical, and they're like, oh, your kid's birthday is like June 24th. Like rattling them off. Like, oh, she's with it, but it's not right. Yeah. Some uncanny valley stuff.
So, for me, haunting is like a long-term thing. So if I close my eyes and I think of like a scene from, in this case, a horror movie, it's like what scene stuck with me the most. So I feel like I have a couple of them. One of them is right in the beginning, that connection right off the bat, because at first it seems okay. Usually a horror movie's got like a punch at the start, and this one, it was an emotional punch because if you read through the subtext, like I mentioned, it's Christmas here. There's a Christmas tree. It's up, and there's this old woman just in this big house alone, and the water's overrunning upstairs, and there's this crazy figure in the corner. Like, to me, that was haunting that this lady is so alone.
That was very good.
I have another one was when the granddaughter Sam goes to Jamie's dad and asks like what happened, and they keep cutting from that to the door that the kid was at. When the dad explains, well, her and Edna and Jamie were playing hide and seek. Well, she forgot that Jamie hid, so she locked the door on him, and it would be the same like cupboard area that Sam was stuck in at the end. So to think that boy had to go through what Sam had to go
through the nightmare labyrinth to get out.
That's pretty haunting, but that's only like they give you a taste of it. It's up to you to
And it sounds even worse when he's like, I went to ask her where he was. She said she didn't see him while screaming. He could hear him screaming, and she's like, I haven't seen him.
Right.
He's like, I hear him upstairs screaming.
Yeah. And then I think the biggest haunting scene for me, though, is that look. There's two looks from Gran at the end. One is while she's on the floor and she's been beaten by that pipe, and she looks over, and all she says is K, and it's this look, and I'll kind of go into it towards the end too, but that look there, and then when K is done peeling the layers off of her, it's that look when she's in her final form that she gives to K. So I think those two are haunting looks, but not in the sense that they're like horrifying. It's like they stick with me. And I think once I explain at the end the context and my initial reactions, might shed some light on that. Were there any other haunting scenes that you guys wanted to pick out before we go to the next topic?
I thought when you see when you see the psychosis of Gran, that when she was eating, it was just so foreign to see her eating those pictures. And it did stay with me too, because I'm like, instead of being scared, I was feeling sad because I saw the metaphor that was woven throughout the movie of loneliness and being written off, and she's really already dead, but she's still something to be managed. But in their minds and hearts, they've already moved on from her.
Right. The real version of her.
Yeah, the real version of her is a memory already. They've already written her off.
Yep.
And I felt horrible for her. And then that was a haunting scene to see her like doing something so out of the ordinary. A loving grandmother who would, you know what I mean? She's on all fours like a beast, eating the pictures and then saying this manic refrain. That it's good horror though. I like when good horror to me like puts you on edge a little bit and just keeps you off you can't get your footing under you. Mm-hmm. And that scene was off-putting, like haunting to me.
I like seeing her switch. Not that I like it, but I thought that was a good what they did with her being warm and welcoming to just switching up, being cold and distant. Like, oh, he gave her this ring so she can keep it. Like, why do you have that? Did you steal it? Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing that's like your typical horrifying about that, but having a character who you perceive as, vulnerable, an old woman who's willing to give you her ring and be nice, generous, and then for her to be like, did you steal that? Mm-hmm. And then like now you're defensive, like the relationship you have is like totally opposite now. Mm-hmm. And it's jarring, but it's not like a horror movie jump scare jar. Mm-hmm. So like you've built these characters up enough where if they switch who they are, it's look off-putting. So I don't know. I thought that was really cool. Like I would put that in the little bit of a haunting category. It's not supernatural per se, but it questions the relationship of how everything is too.
I feel like I could probably throw in the scene where Kay goes to the old folks' home and talks with the people there, the staff there. Oh, well, this is a 5-star thing. Here's the view of the ocean, and you look at the view, and like the
It's
ocean was
way
like
out there.
10 miles away, crowded, shrouded by city and whatever, and she's seeing these other people that don't seem like they're too far off of what Edna is. They can walk around, and the one guy crosses the aisle with his scooter and kind of gives her a look, and I feel like it kind of frames the position that Kay and Sam are in a little bit, and puts it in pretty tangible terms that we can understand as adults, I guess. All right, Tin Man, why don't you hit the noise in the cherries? Let's talk about theme and why.
Don't have the funeral till the body dies. If I can quote Alice in Chains. You'd be well advised not to have the funeral till the body dies. Yeah. That's a great. Anyway, yeah, I mean, that's honestly, it's like, to me, that was the theme of it. It's like a cautionary tale of you psychologically checked out of this woman's life. You've written her off already. You've Inuit, cut her off the iceberg, and you pushed her, and you pretty much admitted such. And so has the younger daughter admitted such, the granddaughter. And now you're grasping at this. You're grasping at something that was there all along, but you've decided isn't part of.
Right.
Isn't that important to
Whether
you?
it wasn't worth your time or whether you were
And life happens.
busy
So
on-
I'm not being to be mean. I don't want to be mean, but yeah. They obviously prioritized other things, and I think the filmmaker made it so that you can see that.
And I agree. I find myself doing that too.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
There was times where I would sit and
awful.
visit with my grandparents and my aunts all the time, and 5 kids in sports,
And
works all over the place.
And you see us. I see all three of us
make time.
still try to make those efforts. I even tonight, like if I don't get over there, I'll call even and put it on speaker. Let me say hi to everybody, type of thing. And anybody that knows my parents' house, it's like your grandmother's house.
Yeah.
It's like a party every night. It looks like people are like, oh, what's going on? Whose birthday is it? No, that's
17
just
cars there.
It's
Like,
Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
That's Thursday right there. And that's so. Anyway, as a theme again, I don't think I can. Usually, I do better at this when I can kind of prep myself a bit and kind of watch it for that purpose. And I knew that's a question that always is repeated on this, but just like, yeah, it's like a cautionary tale. What happens? What's at stake if you write someone off too soon, or when you write someone off that you love?
Yeah.
Well, how bad it hurts, the damage it can cause to everybody, kind of. Anyway, just buckshot here, just shooting birdshot, trying to hit something.
I know. Corey likes us putting them in
That's Mr. Vosley.
define little boxes, and I'm like, no. It's an ambiguous, vague cloud of idea. Let me leave it that way.
Well, explain to me your ambiguous cloud of ideas.
Let's be Ace and Gary then.
He's trying to sublimate this into a box. All right.
We'll jump out of that box.
Just fly around. And
Under
soak up the
siege
cloud.
style.
Under siege style.
I'm not good with this on the spot stuff.
Yeah, whenever I'm searching for a theme, I
I
struggle with it.
Yeah, it's like, I just watched 2 hours. I wrote 2 pages of notes, and then they're like, well, what does it mean? Who are you? Well, I'm this. No, that's what you do.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Well,
what are you? You're
So
a father.
to reaffirm, with this podcast, it's, I ask that because that gives us a snapshot as to how what you personally take away from the movie. So once you kind of have an anchor there, you can start to put things together and form your thoughts a little bit. So that anchor, though, can be different for people. So there are movies out there where there could be 5 different themes that people come up with, or ideas, central ideas of themes that people
Like
come up
weapons. Weapons seems to be a little
with. Yes. Yeah.
there.
So movies like that. And once you know, it's the versatility of horror.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I ask that, but there is no right answer. You know, it's how you saw the movie, what you took away from it, and how you use the tools they gave you to support that thought.
So I would say the theme is dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's, the effects that it has on family, and how people struggle to cope with seeing family members supposedly still alive appearing to be ghosts of themselves, and the trauma that it can cause. I would go with something along those lines.
Beauty. Yeah,
Okay.
I like it. I know 1 hour later. No, I think that's really good. And I feel like I see a lot of interpretations deal with that. And they say, you know, well, it's about dementia. It's about the impact and how it shapes family dynamics once that kicks in. I went with embracing your loved ones despite illness and change. There were a lot of things that support the idea that it was dementia and all of that, but I feel like I took it a step broader, and it could be dementia, it could be any other form of
Black mold parasites.
of illness, of mental illness, of anything like that, and how it affects the way someone loves their family.
Okay.
And I think one of the big, because I certainly saw the dementia thing, and I was like, you're hitting us a little bit over the head with it, so let's see if there's something a little bit more. And that's why I went this route once I saw Jamie's story, because Jamie has some sort of developmental issue, right? And how that affects his family. You know, the movie doesn't go into it, but you can infer that that's affecting the dynamic of that family, because he certainly looks like an adult, right? That still lives with his parents. That's, he has to,
Right.
with his,
Or special needs.
yeah, with the needs that he has as an adult, has to live with his parents. And so you can imagine they go through their own dynamics there. And so that's what kind of cemented it for me with embracing your loved ones despite illness and changes, because you have another example within the same movie.
Yeah.
And you had scenes that kind of served as a stamp, when Kay follows her to the forest, and even though she doesn't understand what Edna's doing when she's eating the paper or burying the stuff, she's supporting her and kind of letting it be until Edna breaks and keeps asking, where is everyone? She just gives her a hug. Despite Edna biting
Her
Kay's finger,
like
Yeah.
she
minutes,
still,
like a minute before that. Yeah.
right, she still absorbs that and still is able to give her a hug. And you can see it shows Edna start to embrace her back, finally be able to accept this love back. And then at the end, of course, after they beat her, and you summed it up perfectly, where Kay realizes that right now her mom needs her and doesn't want to have to burden her own daughter with the love that she neglected her own mother. So she goes back inside and, like you said, literally carries her up the stairs, cares for her. You kind of get the sense putting someone to bed like that. I feel like that's the ultimate depiction of loving, is when all of us have kids. It's that putting the kids to bed, tucking them in tight, cuddling with them if they need it. So I felt like that was the ultimate depiction of that, with her carrying her up the stairs like a little baby, putting her in the bed. She was peeling skin off and hair, but it felt like caressing hair, or that warm touch. And then once she got to, well, I guess I should save that part for the visual metaphor, but just finally being able to embrace her mother despite the
horrible monster
the
she turned
horrible
into.
events of that night.
Yeah.
And experiencing the full-blown manifestation of dementia with the house.
Right.
So that's why I went with what I did. I went a little bit broader than just
okay.
dementia, but just being able to go past that your love shouldn't be conditional with the illnesses, with the dementia. Just because it's tough doesn't mean you should love less, right?
Perfect.
So
I like that.
That's why I went for that.
Celebratory.
A second one already?
It's a Molson.
You're gonna have to pee in 2 minutes.
Oh, who knows? All right. Solid.
Let's. We've been kind of tiptoeing around it the whole episode, but visual metaphors, and you could probably lump in symbolism here too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Whoever's got one, just
Okay,
go
that
for it.
looming figure that keeps showing up. I even wrote it in my notes early on. I was like, "Is it this?" Like with a question mark.
Yeah.
But it's like it's whatever disease it is that it seems to be affecting them. It's near them. It's showing up behind them. It's around them. I always attributed that as being like this thing that's affecting them, and then shows up like in the house as mold. Eventually, that mold affects on their person too. But I don't know if I had like that looming figure as being like it itself, whatever this disease is, that's what it is. And it affects the house, it affects the people, it affects everyone around it by showing up as mold. I don't know if it'd be death. I don't even know what I would call it.
I mean, I would see it as like rotting, like decay.
Okay,
The way
that's cool. That's a good one too.
Mold
Yeah.
eats away at
Yeah.
living things.
But it's weird that it shows up as this figure that at one point she clearly can see it and then decides not to address it. That'd be one. That's kind of like that's like the first thing you see is like you kind of think it's a monster movie. There's a monster in here. There's a demon. It's a ghost. It's whatever, but it's something more real and probably more scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really like that it was there, but it never jumped out, never showed up to attack you, it never grabbed you by the leg. It was this looming presence. And I don't know. I like that idea. I like that it was like a literal metaphor for a thing that's showing up.
To me, it was more terrifying.
Yeah, right.
Because it wasn't.
Because it never grabbed you and jumped out.
You don't have a bat to defend yourself against it. It's just there. I thought the Post-its were like a visual metaphor, but also just like a visual, just like the idea of as you're losing your grip on reality.
It's like literal thought bubbles.
Yeah, but also I think that the metaphor was woven in it nicely that, if someone could articulate some things that are important as their mind slips away, or as they start finding their way off the ofrenda, as they're starting to slip from people's minds, you get a picture of what mattered and what was important, what was essential, what was vital to the life of Grandma. And like you said, the one that said, "I am loved," it breaks my heart. I have to remind myself that I'm loved. You know what I mean? But how many of us could probably use a Post-it like that says that, that I'm lovable?
Yeah.
You think of a lot of stupid stuff sometimes we do. It's because, maybe because we maybe somewhere in there we think, well, I'm not worthy of that. So, I'm going to let people say this or think this about me. Or I'm going to joke around about something that I really am passionate about. I don't want to joke around about, but I'm going to make a joke about it because I feel like that way people will take their attention off it or something. Those Post-it notes were like a visual stimulating, and they were symbolic of someone trying to hang on to remembering, But I also thought it's just like that, like almost like a call for help, like when you saw it, you felt pity for the grandmother. You felt sorry for her. You felt scared for her. That you could almost feel her anxiety and terror when you saw those post-it notes and the things that were written on there. It would focus on them too, like it would be background, and then it'd be almost like your iPhone when you hit focus foreground or background. You could see what it said, and it just becomes a note. So the very presence of the notes themselves were like a constant reminder that you're dealing with someone with some dementia issues. And then also as it focused in, you see that you're dealing with someone who's very scared about it, about the whole process, who feels very lost and alone.
So I went with the house itself. And I think it was very clever in the beginning there when Kay and Sam came home and they were locked out. So this house is like Edna's mind, right? Mm-hmm. So when they get there, they're locked out, as in like dementia. They're not in there anymore. They can't get in. And they have the smallest of windows to get in, which is the little doggy door. And that ends up being the key for them to get in. You know, Sam's able to get in there first and unlock the door for Kay. So I thought that was... So I think that gesture was symbolic. That that the family knew how to get in, but Edna's mind itself had locked them out. Mm-hmm.
Some real non-traditional locks too, with the like spoon.
Yeah. The little ladle, on a string.
Yep.
So, of course, then after that, you can see plenty of visual metaphors throughout. You know, the secret room, you know, where things might be blocked off in a person's mind that has dementia, or they might be rotten inside, or when Sam is stuck in the ever-changing labyrinth, you know, where in Edna's mind, you know, things keep changing for the worse and keep shifting to where, well, I thought this was familiar, and now it's not. And you kind of get that visual representation of what it would be like to be trapped in your mind
good.
like that.
That's really good.
Yeah, I think like the doors throughout the hidden passageways too, whereas you can't remember what's behind it, and you can't open it anyway. So again, building on that metaphor. Mm-hmm.
I had a weird call yesterday. I went to a house where I don't know. It was a family who's been taking care of their grandma who has dementia and Alzheimer's, and we went over there and woke everyone up on it because someone called a welfare concern. She was screaming in the background. It woke everyone up, but they bring her the dog. They're like, give her the dog. Give the dog to her. And then she starts petting the dog and calms down. And it was like, the doggy door was open, but they had to bring a dog over. They're like, hold on, she needs the dog. And they bring a dog over to her, and she pets the dog, and she calms down. Okay, everything's okay. And they're like, yeah, she's fine. But it's the whole thing. But I just thought it was funny. Oh, yeah, they came in through the doggy door. There weren't any dogs there, but like this family that I just went to yesterday, they use the dogs to help calm her down when she gets all riled up.
Funny.
Yeah, like, a real life thing from yesterday.
Do you guys have any other visual metaphors?
I thought like horror in general, like the instances of horror, to me symbolize like the violent transitions between levels of decline. So like you see, the things that scared me most, like she's manic in bed saying, check under the bed, and the noises in the wall. It's almost like, and even like her paranoia when she's out eating the pictures, like, I got to keep them safe. They can't find them. I got to keep them safe. I got to bury them. She's doing like more manic things that, like horror, things that caused horror and dis-ease.
Yeah.
It was almost like that was symbolizing, okay, now it's getting worse. It's bad, but now it's getting worse. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
So I thought I read that they put in sounds in the movie that dementia patients have described.
Really?
When they have...
Because it sounded like almost condition. Like a predator thing, but it was like... Well, I can't do it. It sounds like wood. It was like a wood...
Well, I heard it as like the wood creaking. So when I watched it, it felt like the wood was always moving, so always changing. So like you can't it's never still.
Never settled. Yeah,
Right.
it's like I was settling.
Like it's always moving. It's
Yeah.
always changing on you.
Okay.
And
It's
then
cool when a film does that. Well, like when the film will portray anxiety or like a panic attack. Some shows really get it, and you're like, oof, I can't listen to it because it feels too real. You know.
Oh,
It's-
really?
Like I mean, Ted Lasso when he's having his panic attack episode, it's so real. All of it is very yeah, and
Like
like
that
how
was
he
going on.
doesn't hear the voices well.
Yeah.
And everything's around him, and it all becomes like a mosaic.
Yeah, a little blurry.
Yeah,
mosaic,
and then like
whatever.
the sounds played, and you hear when his boss is like, Ted, finally, Ted.
Yeah.
It was too clear, and then he starts breathing, and all of a sudden he can hear a little bit better, and that high pitch goes away a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, when it captures that, it's like the filmmaker. It's like good work because you're taking us and putting us in the mind of the character a little bit. It's hard. I think it's got to be hard to do. I can't say if it is or not, but when it works, oh, how cool!
Tin Man, did you think of any others or no?
The bathtub. For whatever reason, like her absent-mindedness is letting the water flow. And it feels like this word it stems from initially because all the water running over it is what's like where the mold would generally come from. So I don't know if I would like look at it as like time. I don't know but the water, she keeps going in the water and not shutting it off ever. It just keeps overflowing. And that's where like I don't know, the movie started off there.
Yeah.
She was in there like more than once where she had to go to the tub and then lets it overrun and it causes more stuff. But I didn't know what I wanted to attribute that to, or if it was just,
Those big
a
sealed tubs
device.
Yeah.
But if it meant something more than just that's like where it starts, or that's where the thing happens first or something. I don't know.
Maybe like the neglect or the self-care kind of
Maybe
going out
because
the
who
window.
ended up shutting it off when it was starting to overflow again? The daughter, who was never there before. That's why it started overflowing. Not that she can stop it from
Right.
the dementia from coming, but like she's there to help care for her when it's
It's cool
starting
how
to
the
happen.
movie kind of tackled how the grandmother was probably feeling in her head, and also in some ways how mom and daughter were feeling in their head
Yeah.
throughout the movie. So what a cool picture to be able to show the thought process and this little bit of the psychosis between it internally of three people
Yeah.
simultaneously.
Of course, the the true self of Edna at the end, when all the layers are peeled away, and she's just this, like you said, mummified version of herself. To me, had spoken to the theme I talked about, where I talked about the look that Edna gives Kay when she's in her final form there. And it's almost like this look of like vulnerability of like, like you finally see me.
Yeah.
Is like how it felt when, that look. There's no malice, there's no fear, there was no, it just seemed peaceful.
Yeah,
The way
yeah.
she looked at her.
Yeah. Her look seemed peaceful, even
Yeah.
though she looked almost
Right.
horrifying,
And it was kind of like,
but vulnerable.
like, oh, you're here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like this. I'm fine. You can see how I am, and
Yeah.
you're here. Like that visual of, this is what dementia and loneliness and all that had deduced Gran to. And for her to be in that state and see that Kay is able to
Accept her.
see past
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
embrace
yeah.
her, and show her love, And so the just that visualization of what she probably feels like on the inside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or every worse part of her. That dementia or whatever the diseases has brought her how low the version of her that's at its ugliest, she can still be loved at that point. But I guess they had made it animatronic. Like that's like to make it move and
You didn't
stuff.
think it was actually the actress?
I didn't think it was actually her, but I thought maybe it was like someone they put in costume or whatever. But apparently it was a whole thing. They had to like move it with animatronic stuff to make
No
the
way.
face move and stuff. Yeah.
Any other visual metaphors you can think of?
Not for me.
Or
I'm
symbolism?
Oh, the stained glass was
Oh,
on
yes.
the old
Yes.
house.
I was going to mention that to you guys. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the stained glass.
It was unremarkable because I barely remember it for me.
Like, I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, I was probably something I was looking halfway through squinty eyes or something. I'm a big coward. I was watching it alone, so.
So the old house, the one that she has the visions with the old man, and then eventually
Oh,
the
she
grandma,
wanted those.
it's
That's
on the
right.
front door,
That's right.
and she drew pictures of it.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Oh, what is that?" It's the picture because she recognized it from her vision. It's like, yeah, she drew pictures of the old house, but that stained glass door, I think it was the window on the door, they had repurposed it in the new house,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll eventually show it, and it was like gathering mold around it, and it was just this weird stained glass. I don't know, it was a hexagon shape. Mm-hmm. But it was in the doors, and it was slowly getting more and more. I don't know if
Okay.
that's kind of like a family legacy. So it's connecting all the family together since it was in this old house. And now it's in the new house.
Yeah, I saw it as like a hereditary, like they inherited this issue.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
that's what happened to it would be her, great-great-grand or
It was her great-grandfather.
father?
Yeah.
So that happened to him. The same thing that happened to him is happening to Gran. So it's kind of like, hereditary.
I see.
This is how I saw it anyway.
And then mold is found on the back of Kay.
Well, the window though, there's that scene where Gran says like, "Oh, I can't stand that window" or whatever.
Yeah.
Like she recognized it as a relic of what happened to the previous generation. Okay. Tell me about. So speaking of inheriting genes and illnesses and whatnot, what were you going to say?
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you did. About the black spot.
The black spot was found after laying down with the Gran, Kay, and then Sam was laying down behind her, sees a black spot on Kay's back.
Yeah.
So now it looks like they're trying to they're trying to break the cycle of pushing each other away and letting them die alone and scared. And they're trying to be able to love each other through the midst of these diseases. And it looks like Sam has an example of how to do that now that Kay's gone through it. And then if Kay eventually gets this, maybe Sam will do the same thing.
Well, I like the shot they have from above the bed where you have these generations of women now supporting one another. So you had Gran in the front, you had Kay, and then you had Sam, all facing the same way, all in the same bed. So it was like this visual representation of being united now.
Kind of a beautiful scene, terrifying too at the same time. It's like you've got this girl at her, you've got it. We know where this is taking you.
Right.
But with Gran, it was like she was facing this alone, and she would
Yes.
isolate herself. She would be in the bath, picking at the black spot on her chest. And with this one, now they're together, and Sam recognizes the black spot then. So I feel like that's one of those scenes where you could interpret it in a lens of despair and say, oh, Kay's going to get it now, and she's going to turn into whatever. But to me, I'm on board with you and seeing it as okay, you've inherited this illness, it may happen, but now you have the support of your daughter already. In Gran's case, she didn't have that support for the longest time.
Yeah.
That was one of the lines from the beginning, too, because she said... where is it? I thought I wrote it down. She's like at the house, like cleaning up. She goes, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. She goes, I think you're doing it.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
And it was
Remember
like,
she did say that
she
to her
was just
mom.
being present, just being in the house.
Exactly.
Like,
I think you're doing it.
I think you're doing it,
And it's a nice little, it's a nice encouragement to folks who don't know how to help sometime. Someone passes, or there's grief somewhere, or if you're trying to be an encouragement, sometimes just being there is the medicine. That's the balm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're supposed to be there for. Sometimes actually saying something is what screws it up.
Well, with us, definitely.
Oh, I have when the ominous figure shows up all the time. I have one where it shows up.
Wait,
as
speaking
Graham's
to your
walking
mic.
away.
Restart, but speaking to your mic.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I said, no, I don't remember how I said.
Well, you.
But I had written down where the ominous figure keeps showing up because I wrote it down. One where it was right. Ominous figure appears downstairs as Graham's walking away, and then right after that, Graham accuses Sam of stealing her ring. So there's a few moments where I had noted that thing showed up, and then what happened right after it. So that's one of them too.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah, it's creepy.
I wrote weird notes for whatever reason. I did good with the notes on this one. I like paused the scene, wrote an idea, let it go, pause the scene. That sounds important. Wrote that.
I mean, think about our lives, though, man. You must have been in report writing mode because you were
That was
just like
100% what it was.
Honest to goodness, though, like it's hard to. I mean,
Observe and report.
yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky to do, man. I know some weeks I really get into it, and I found myself like falling into reading off of that too much instead of using it as a reference. Mm-hmm. The way that this is going tonight, I love that you can look at it and say, hey, here's where my thoughts were here. I want to do a little bit of that more, but I got the feel of the whole movie too in my head. I'm like,
I feel like if I have to sacrifice some of the just sitting to enjoy a movie, I will if I do it this way. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this was one of the movies where I was like, no, this means something. Hold on.
I really like this though because it looks like we've been fishing and I can see your net's full and I love that.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a full net of things to bring, and I'm sitting here like this saying, well, I mean, no, I don't remember stained glass, the actual relic.
I always love when Tin Man walks in with the notepad. Hey, all right.
Some weeks it's, but this week it just worked out because I'm like, I have no time to watch this movie, and I had like 4 hours to go. Oh, hold on, the kids are all occupied. Something's going on. The missus is working. Yeah, you know what? I was able to get the app. Okay, you know what? I'm good. And I sit like I did on my college days, just like on the ground with it set up with my notebook in front of me.
That's the best way to consume a film.
Red Baron pizza.
Yeah, red Baron pizza and a Code Red.
So I'm going to go first because I had saved my initial reactions for what does this movie make you think and feel. So a little context here. Movie came out in 2020. I think the Blu-ray came out later in the year. And you guys remember what happened in 2020? A little something called pandemic. Everything shut down.
Oh.
The disease of unknown origin.
Well, you say that, except I lost 2 months of my life, basically. So I started with COVID in March, April. And mind you, my son was born that December before. So during these formative times, I was isolated from family, from taking care of my 3-month-old child and trying to protect them by isolating myself. There's times where my pulse ox, for anyone that knows some medical stuff, I was at 88% on many days, and you should be at least someone
like 97,
like,
or something.
98, 99, 100 if you take a nice good deep breath. And to put it in perspective, if I went to a home as a nurse and someone's was below 92, I'd be calling the doctor and saying, hey, they're getting low. So those were some of my days there. There'd be times where I'd cough so hard and so long that my field of vision would get down to a pinpoint, and I'd have to sit down and catch my breath before it would open back up. So this was the state I was in. Went back to work. Had to miss days on and off if I had fevers. Well, because for 2 months straight I had fevers. And so going back to work, fatigued every day to the point where I'm falling asleep on the way home. That I have to pull off to the side of the road just to try and either wake up or take a 10-minute nap, just to get home from work every day. And so this continued for months of being in this constant cycle and coming home and not feeling like I couldn't contribute and not really knowing what the next day would bring. So when I watched this movie, those feelings of uncertainty, death, health crisis, not just mental, but watching the movie, you can kind of relate those feelings to other health crises, not just like dementia. So watching the movie, I was already vulnerable, I think, viewing this story due to the social climate as I just outlined. So the feelings that we see from Gran, those stuck out to me. No clue how to act here. I'm doing what I can, what I think is right, but even there's like I said, the uncertainty, the fear, the anxiety, the isolation, the loneliness. Those were all things that I was super sensitive to at that point. So watching the story with Gran, when she had the note of "I am loved," was like a punch right to the gut.
Yeah.
And then seeing Kay care for her at the end in the bedroom was like another punch in the gut. So that was the only time I watched the movie until, so I just watched it again last night. So I was pretty interested for you guys to watch it to see just how different our lenses were for watching a movie like this. Because, our discussion tonight has been pretty observant, I would say, of what we saw in this horror movie. But to me is one of the movies that I feel like had affected me the most emotionally. Like we talked about Dumbo a few episodes ago. We talked about Coco, being emotional. But this one hit me pretty hard, and not because of the dementia part. And this is why my theme was broader than just dementia, but illness and mental issues and change. Because the lens that I watched this with was so affected by COVID and the mental confines during that time.
How Xbox saved me. That's COVID tale. I haven't played before for years, and I haven't played in years since. Mm-hmm. But man, did those sessions... I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get too emotional about it, but those were exactly what I needed during COVID, to feel part of communities, to kind of like team build. And I'm a people person, man, and I couldn't be around anybody, so we'd all be on there and be like, "This is awesome." I'd look forward to when I had to jump. And I'm horrible at games, so it's like I'd play with if Fred and his gang was on, I'd play with them, and some students from school, they needed it too. So they're like, "Hey, Mr. Braley's on." So they would spread the word and we'd play. We'd play some games. But the best times were our little group, our little military group. We'd go, and I knew I was the worst on there, but I was like, this is my community. I'm going to get to talk to the guys. And I can remember when technology would be failing. I'm like, I need this. I'd get freaked out a little bit that my batteries would die in my headset or something. So I remember getting a corded headset and almost feeling like my anxiety level go low, because I'm like, I don't have to worry ever about that. My headphones dying and my headset dying, because it plugs right into the source, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, never mind the fact that now I'm tied to the system for power. I was more important though that I had a connection now. And it was, it's an interesting time that gets politicized very often now, but it's an interesting time that I think psychologically and sociologically they'll be talking about the effects of it for decades,
Mm-hmm. I can tell you that because I went to work like normal. We had they didn't want us doing traffic stops, anything like that, but they did want us, we still had to respond to calls.
Yeah.
And we had to test ourselves constantly. But the amount of like domestics, like crazy domestics and stuff we went to was like really high. Like we had a few where people were shooting shotguns off because they were going to kill each other in the family.
Jeepers.
And we just happened to get there. The one of them we got there, he had threatened to kill himself, his gran. He went outside and shot a bunch of rounds off and was like, I'm killing the cops and then myself.
Jeepers.
And set the shotgun down. And nobody called for like 30 minutes. And then someone was like, hey, this guy's shooting rounds off. Mm-hmm. He went outside to smoke a cigarette, and that's when we happened to show up.
Jeepers.
In a little bit of cigarette breaks, we ran inside to grab his shotgun. We tackled him. And that was like in the middle of COVID. So he's coughing in our faces after we tackle him. So there was a whole lot of that. Like, I don't know, like a cabin fever that people were getting, and then it was lashing out. We'd had to show up to those type of situations, and it wasn't like that before that or after that. But during that time, it was like, man, society definitely is feeling the weight of this, and it's happening in the homes, and then having to respond to that was noticeable.
So I think when you relate all this back to Relic, you get these people that are in uncertain times, that they don't know what's happening to them health-wise. They don't know. It's just a whole bunch of unknowns in their life at the point. And they're doing things that it's crazy what, some of the things that they're doing, like how Gran in this movie is, well, I gotta eat the photos to keep them, or I gotta bury them so that, that evil thing doesn't take them
away. Yeah.
So, I feel like you can pull some similarities there with people in those moments that don't know how to act, that don't know what's going on, and only way that they can behave is to just lash out with whatever. So then when I relate this, because this part's new then, so why did Mr. Vosley put this in a category with Happy Mother's Day?
I think as a cautionary tale to always be there for our moms, for those we love, regardless of what state they're in. We can't just assume that they're okay. They shouldn't have to have a post-it to remind them that they're loved. We need to do that. I think if that's the mission right there, then that's a noble mission, and that's mission enough.
Yeah, I mean that's a good portion of it right there, and just the from the Gran's point of view, that's all she needed was just be there, just come visit, just come tell me that you love me, To me,
don't let me spend Christmas alone with this monster.
Yeah, right.
The idea of dementia itself becomes a symbol for, or how the family has left her, in the same way that the memories are fleeting from her mind. Her forgetting them is just as real as them, for lack of a better term, abandoning her, I guess. So, what do you think, Tim Man?
Agreed. Well done.
So this one, kind of like Mother, where I was waiting to share this with people in the right context. And odd that it's Happy Mother's Day, but there's a handful of movies that I was thinking of doing, and this one kept popping up enough that I was like, okay, let's do it.
It's so good because it's generational. It's like it's a cautionary tale to the mom. Then you're seeing it's going to have effects on the younger daughter now too.
Well, you've seen so the motifs throughout this season of generational, of cyclical nature, of the human nature. The human experience, how cyclical that can be. And even in this movie, you had passing down from generation to generation, this black spot. And you have movies like Coco that deal with a very similar thing of forgetting your family and not prioritizing your ancestors or your descendants. So it felt too good not to include right here, right now.
I just remember telling some of our listeners, I was sharing with them. And they like to get a little head start sometimes, and they're like, "It's like what's the movie?" And I said the name of the movie, and one of them knew the title, but hadn't seen it. They're like, he's gonna pull us all into Halloween already. And I wanted to take a picture of our background today and say, yeah.
I've also
Now-
been moving around in my chair quite a bit so you can hear it. Still
Yeah, I
creaking
know.
like
It's so sickening.
So-
Don't think it was lost on me either. Son of a gun.
So for you guys then, how does this movie make you think and feel?
So I'll go first then. I haven't had too many grandparents that have had issues, diseases where it feels like you're losing them. I did take care of Lum, but I wasn't really close to her. She was a great grandma.
She's my great grandmother, but she was a great grandmother.
Was a great, yeah, she was my daughter's great grandmother. But when I was in between jobs, I had taken a home care aide position and was taking care of her, and she was somewhat with it, but she was so old. She was 105 when I started taking care of her till like 107 when she died. But she was she would have little stints of, she only had very short-term memory, so she'd have little stints of, like, she would tell a joke. I had moved her purse for her one time, and was holding her, so I threw it over my shoulder, and she just like, looks good on you, and like laughed to herself. I'm like, she's making fun of me. Like, and she would barely talk and just make fun of me about something, and then if I held it again, she'd make the same joke. I'm like, oh, she's only remembering like 5 minutes at a time before she's losing it all. But I haven't really had any instances where or relationships with someone that was totally different from the version of them now. But my wife has. Like, her grandma Karen was like one of her closest family members growing up. It was like her second mom. And then to have her go through it where she's, playing Yahtzee like they always did and was getting like angry at them. Well, you're cheating. She's accusing me of cheating, and I'm like, why is your grandma all mean to me now? And she's like, she had a stroke and she's just different, and then she'd have a little window where she'd come out of it and then have to tell her she loved her, and like her face became like her again, and then slipped back into
That's
behind her eyes again.
That's such a hard thing. I have a heart for folks that wrestle with that have that in their life. The list goes on and on and on. I know the Gray House, Joni's family, like I think it was Maurice's mother, like really intense dementia, and others, they have the fence there, and the question with the family's been: do we leave the fence up? Do we take the fence down? What do we do with the fence? It's so foreign to see a fence around a yard on the reservation.
Yeah, like a regular like chain link fence. It's not a.
And I remember I always
fence.
wondered about. I was always curious, and I heard the story. I'm like, oh, okay. Run away, you'd have to lock the fence, the gate, and all that. And it's real hard stuff.
Yeah.
That's real hard stuff right there. And I remember my boss. I had a principal, good Christian dude, upstanding human being, good guy. And just family man, loved his boys, loved him, and loved his dad, and they were real close. And I didn't know that his dad wrestled with like really intense dementia. And he came into work once, and he had a black eye and a fat lip. And I said, "You all right, boss? Late night?" And he'd had a good sense of humor. And I would walk in his office, and he walked up and closed the door. I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to get fired." And he had watery eyes. He goes, "Yeah, Dad forgot who I was." And he panicked, and I was trying to wash him up, and he thought I was like molesting him or something. And he said, so he did what he should have done. He beat the crap out of the stranger that was touching him. And he goes, and he came to in the middle of it and just started sobbing, and just hugged me and just started sobbing. And he goes, that's the part that hurt. None of this hurts. The part that he's heartbroken, that his little boy was getting beat up. And he just kept telling me, he goes, why didn't you hit me back? He goes, I'm never going to hit you, Dad. And he goes, you have my permission. If I ever get like that to you, he goes, you kick my ass. And Mike goes, he goes, in the middle of it, I'm like, all right, Dad, you got it. Maybe this will help keep your mind and going. And just hard things, man. Seeing how hard it is for people to endure that, the family members. But then I think to myself, how scary it must be for the person going through it to endure that. And I don't even know if it's scary for them, because I think sometimes they're not aware of it.
Yeah, in the movie, she's trying to tear her flesh off because she's kind of like, this isn't me, and she's stabbing her face.
Yeah.
And there's the point where she sees like her family there, and she's like, "You're not Kay," and like starts to chase them or whatever. So it's this, the stories you guys have been telling relate to that part pretty well, where there's that little window where they can find themselves again, but then it goes back to, it's almost like it is like a switch, and they turn into someone else, and
it feels so cruel. It feels so cruel. One more quick story. Julie was on a lot of meds late. My sister, who passed from cancer, she was on a lot of meds, like hospice meds, to kind of ease her suffering and kind of take her home, type of a thing. And so within 24 hours of her passing, we, my sister Jamie, me, and Sean were up there with her and let everybody else go home and rest a little bit because everybody was spending a lot of time. And we were blessed. This is the biggest window of that window we talk about, when they just have that window of clarity. And they were, they let us stay in the waiting room. So me and Sean, her chubby little brothers, are sleeping on the floor of her room where we always did growing up. And Jamie woke us up saying, her eyes were huge, and she says, "Get in here." I'm like, oh boy, she's gone home, right? So we run in there, and Julie, who for days had been incapacitated and medicated, comfortable through the hardest parts, was sitting up, chewing gum, drinking water, and joking with us, looked at us and said, "Get over here." And just for about 37 minutes, I counted exactly, he spoke to us and laughed and told stories and cried with us and held us and rubbed our heads and joked with us and pinched my gut and and was herself. And it's just one of the biggest blessings I count in my 53 years of getting her back and getting to say I love her and talking to that person again instead of this shell, and seeing her respond and just saying, "Oh, I'm all right. I can't stick around. This hurt. This is too rough," And having those moments right there was huge. And then I think to myself, God, why'd you pick us three idiots to give that blessing to? Out of my whole family, out of her children, out of her husband and her mother, all these people who just love her, I think, better than us three blockheads could. But we had it, and we had her for 37 minutes. And then it wasn't her flopping in dramatically in dementia or the flat line. It was her saying, "But I'm tired, so I'm going to go to sleep." And all of us, like, my sister Jamie, grasping the moment, praying with her, letting her be prayed out, and me and John just looking at each other, her two chubby little brothers, like saying, don't go to sleep. And Jamie's looking at us like, "Are you idiots? Let her go to sleep." This was the moment. This was it. It's going, and she's peaceful. Let her rest and go to sleep. And we never chatted with her again. But like, she was stuck around till late the next day so that everybody could get there. But we were never blessed with that consciousness again. But I guess so. Taking it a little bit farther than I wanted to, one of the lessons that sticks with me from Relic is the fact that the time, the word, the visit, the phone call, it's always worth it. Do it, stop by, the text message to a grandparent or a parent, or even just lonely people, not even dementia. Just older folks sometimes are just so lonely. And what does it take for someone who is able-bodied and out and busy? You could make the difference just with a phone call or stop in with a cup of coffee. And man, I got tons of stories. I guess I gotta share this one because the CHW program is no longer funded, and that was my first career, my first job. And I always saw my job as being an encourager, helper and encourager, and working with the elderly. And one of my jobs was just to make rounds daily with certain 12 or 13 elders. Stop by, take a cup of coffee, pick them up, go to coffee, take them to an appointment. Had a budget so that I could get them coffee or stop and get them lunch. And had a budget for gas so that I could just drive around and get people places and take them to a game or something. And it was just like the coolest gig. And you just see, they'd be alive, they'd get all gussied up. The ladies would get, I remember picking up, I don't want to say names because, it's their story to tell, not mine. There was a pair of sisters, and they were older, and they had some maladies, and they were sisters though that every time I picked them up, I'd pick them up together, and they would just laugh like kids and remember stories. And I wasn't even there. I was never even an Uber driver. They were just enjoying themselves, and I'd take them for lunch, and I would sit at the table with them. They never barely even acknowledged me. They would just be like little kids laughing and talking together. And I just remember thinking, and I share those stories with their kids and their grandkids. I share those stories because a lot of the grandkids hadn't even met these ladies. And I'm like, I took your grandma with your aunt, your little grandma,
Mm-hmm.
And we were at Michael's, and they were sitting here, and telling them the stories that they didn't get to hear from them. And so it's like a cool blessing to be able to share that. And that happened because I was paid to do it, but I like to still try to do that anyway. I like to think that I do it anyway. Stop by with a cup of coffee. Remember your and your grandpa too was like, stop by there, and it's like, it was one of the oddest places. Just stop by for no reason, and it was like you were expected. Yeah, there's coffee in there if you want it.
Yeah.
And
you get yelled at for knocking on the door.
Yeah, honestly,
They'd be
yeah.
like, what are you doing? We're here. Come in.
Well, I remember too, even like your grandma Care, just like church. I remember at church where you help carry each other's burdens and sorrows and things like that. And remember when she was going through some stuff, and one of the grandkids were hurt or sick or something. And I'm a hugger, but she was never a hugger to that point. Hugger and family, of course, but not, strange kid from down the road, And I remember I just instinctively hugged her and went to let go, and it was like a 10-minute hug of just, you're being there, you're being present for me. I need this right now. And then I'll still pick on you in a minute, and I'll still, playfully joke with you. And that's my wheelhouse with most folks. That's where I feel comfortable. But I'm learning as I get a little older that we do need each other that way. And as I get older, and I had a stroke years ago, and sometimes I feel like the dimension is between the hearing loss and the stroke. I get scared sometimes because I lose spots very often. It turns out it's just getting old, and I feel good about it. The more I realize, stop trying to act like I'm 20 and act like I'm 53. The more I realize it's just a natural part of it, man, and it's a blessing to age. But then you just need people to come alongside you and remember that you still matter,
Yeah.
And I think that about all of our older folks and those that have gone home. I'm like, I hope they knew how much they mattered to us. Little challenge to our listeners, man. Call your call your mom,
Yep,
your dad, and go visit. Take a cup of
members.
coffee over, man. It's not a bad idea. If you're being a jerk, stop being a jerk to them. Because I know I can be.
Tin Man, any other thoughts,
Closing
emotions,
thoughts?
feelings? What would this movie make you feel? Can you feel? Do you still have the capacity to feel?
Like the way you said it right away. Can you feel?
Well, I'm now in my 40s, and I'm feeling the.
Oh, I'm the only
one in your 30s, yeah. One in our 50s, and one in our 40s, one in our 30s. And it does make me feel like, I do have to spend. I do a lot of busy work all the time, and I'll visit them later. And I remember my last birthday with my grandma when she was still alive, and being like, this is what I want every birthday to be like. And it was at my dad's. There's a swimming pool, so all the kids go off to the swimming pool, and it was just old timers telling stories. And I was like, this is what I want for every birthday. Is just having all the old timers sit around and make fun of so-and-so. I go, I don't know who that is. And they have to explain the grandkids, because I knew who the grandkids were. their parents, and then who their parents were. Like, oh, okay. So they have to connect the family
Yeah.
because everyone knows everyone, but not directly. Sometimes through the family. So they would walk through it. They threw out a bunch of terms in Tuscarora I've never heard before. Little nicknames for things that
People,
I've
they
never
give
heard.
you the real name. You're like, I didn't know that was their name.
Right. Yeah, they used to call them paycheck names.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I know his paycheck name because they'd all go to jobs and
Yeah.
they go, I got a bill for William
Yeah.
and Kenneth. Like, I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know who these people are. And they were like, oh, it's Uddy
Right.
and so
Right.
and like Sonny's name was Fillmore. And I'm
Yes.
like, who's Fillmore? You know, they
I
were like,
thought the same thing. That's one of the names that pops in my head right
Yeah.
away.
So with the movie, you picture that birthday party. You picture holidays, and that's what makes the opening to Relic so haunting for me. Is that she's there. It could be that she's got dementia and it's not actually Christmas, but even if that's the case,
It's February and her tree's
she's
up.
fishing.
Yeah.
She's fishing for that togetherness, and she's not getting it. And so for the camera behind her,
it was Christmas.
for her,
No,
okay,
it was because they mention it when she does the police report. She goes, "Well, she flooded her house last Christmas."
okay,
So
okay.
it was real.
So for her, she's just standing there. She could be reminiscing. She could be remembering. She could be observing how empty it is at this moment here. So like you picture like that birthday party and just picture it just
With no
vanish
one-
like that,
yeah.
and it's just one person. So I think that's what makes that
Haunting
opening.
is the word.
Yeah.
That's a good word for it.
Who thought we'd get so deep on?
Yeah,
I
right.
love it
movie
though.
like this.
I felt like it was heading this
Happy
way
Mother's
after
Day,
watching
everyone.
it.
Go visit
honestly,
your
I
moms.
honestly,
Probably our most heartbelt.
watching
Recording.
it though, I felt that way. And
You
when
got a
watching
couple
it-
lumps out of me. What can I say?
Half a lump.
I gotta have it.
We have a L.
His heart, which was 0, grew 3 times that day. 0 times 3.
Zero. Zero.
We want him on that wall. We need him on that wall.